Going on stage is one of the most terrifying things that people face when it comes to public speaking. Appearing confident and cool and collect is something that takes time to acquire. How do you appear confident on stage? Is there certain aspects that you have to master to be able to do that? Inside this video, what we're going to focus on is how to be more confident while on stage or while public speaking. And that public speaking atmosphere can be in front of either 1,000 people, it can be in front of your coworkers, or it can be on a YouTube channel. But you want to go out and be able to deliver a message that allows you to benefit, allows the audience to benefit, and you want to appear more confident when giving that message. So inside the video, we're going to look at 9 different ways that you can appear more confident when you are in the area of public speaking. Before we get started inside the area of public speaking, I think it's fully important to take time to understand what confidence is. Confidence is having self-assurance and a belief inside oneself, meaning that you feel that you trust your instincts and you're going out there and you know what to do because you've mastered a certain skill set. You believe that, hey, I have the ability to do this. Now, a lot of the time we experience a lot of negative self-talk, and this self-talk over time takes us into an area where we start to have disbelief in ourselves. Having confidence is having the belief inside of ourselves, knowing that we have the ability, knowledge, and skill set to be able to accomplish a task or a goal. When we have confidence in different things, we know the subject, we know the belief, we have experience, and we know what we're talking about. But sometimes when we go out in front of people, we don't always have that self-assurance or that confidence. And what happens when we go on stage is really starting to have a massive disbelief in ourselves. When you go out on stage, numerous people are rooting for you to succeed. Nobody's looking for you to come out on a stage or come out on a YouTube video planning for you to utterly fail. The idea is that we are looking to see how are you going to do it? What is the message you're going to relay? When you come out on stage, you're showing up with your skill set, your knowledge, and everything that you have to share with your particular audience. And what that does is when you exhibit confidence, it translates to your audience that they are able to believe your message, leaving a great takeaway, and what is the understanding that you know how to talk about your topic. You're the subject matter expert inside that area. All right, let's dive into the different ways that you can appear more confident in delivering your message. Here are a few tips to help you build your self-confidence inside the area of public speaking. Tip number 1, prepare thoroughly. There are several different times that I see many people get on stage and they are under-prepared. What happens is your audience is able to see this very vividly because you're either stuttering, you're using you're using quite frequently, and it shows a disbelief in both yourself, but it also kind of makes the audience feel like, hey, where is this actually going? And if you don't have a direction and you haven't prepared and you don't have an outline studied, it leaves the audience and yourself with less credibility, and it also shows that you're not confident in your message. Tip number 2, use proper body language. So a lot of times when you go out and you project yourself and you stand in a commanding or a confident stance, you're going to exhibit that you not only are confident inside the area that you're talking about, but you're posing and you're showing an audience that you feel secure enough in yourself that you're able to project a confident message. This shows that you're in control of a situation, that you know and you believe what you're talking about, and thus allowing the audience to feel more rest assured, more confident that you're confident, and the message comes in a lot stronger. Tip number 3, start to focus on your audience. What I mean by this is rather than focus on the nervousness that you may have or any type of jittery moment, You want to focus on making that connection with your audience, making sure that you look people in the eye, that you smile, because what ends up happening is when you're able to focus more on something else, rather than focus on the internal nervousness, you're able to look and appear more confident. The audience sees you engaging with them, which starts to bring them into your speech or into your message, allowing the connection to build. Once a connection builds, you start to have people engage more with your speech, and that will allow you to build and be more confident that people are listening to your message and understanding what it is you have to say. Tip number 4. Another way that you can appear more confident is using humor. Now, I often tell people humor is a great way for you to exhibit and project confidence because it breaks down walls and it gets the room to start to lessen. There's less tension there for everybody. What happens is when humor is used, the walls come down and your audience starts to connect with you more. Now, I caution people on using humor because you want to make sure that it's humor that the audience can connect with and that you're not overdoing it. When you overdo humor, you tend to lose an audience because sometimes the jokes that you're telling often aren't received very well by those in the audience if they don't know the basis that you're coming from. So just keep a word of mind that it is a great tool to use, but using something that is a generic joke is often best received and it breaks down your walls quicker and it goes a lot further, but it's also a segue into your speech. Another tip that I encourage people to appear more confident on stage is before you go out or before you start, take a deep breath. Making sure that you are breathing correctly makes your body remain inside control. What happens is it allows you to regulate your emotions and appear in control. And when you go out and there's a brief pause, it causes people to lean in, wanting to hear what you're going to have to say. When you're breathing right and you're able to remain in control, exhibits a tremendous amount of confidence inside your speech, but also it shows that you have self-control, which people look at to make sure that you're delivering your message the right way. Having a good breathing pattern also allows you to exhibit your speech in a way that flows flawlessly and it allows it to be better received. Tip number 6. One area that I practice with a good amount of people is visualizing themselves in whatever setting that they're planning to be on when they give a public speech. When you visualize yourself, the brain pattern often shows the exact same movements. If you take an MRI and you show a brain scan of a person visualizing an experience and being in the experience, it's often the same. When you visualize yourself there and you go through a speech and you practice it, it's almost very similar to the brain of actually being there. And what ends up happening long term is some of those practices, those visualizations, actually come out on stage. Because your brain has gone through the many different patterns that you would go through as if you were normally there, of preparing, of going through a speech, how you would say it, you appear more confident on stage because you've run through the speech several times, both physically and mentally, but also it shows your audience that you have an understanding of how you want to communicate that speech through the visualization techniques. Another tip that I have for you is when you go on stage and oh my gosh, you've made a mistake, what do you do now? If you can learn to ease up and just roll with the mistake, oftentimes it's absolutely okay. Most people are not that concerned if you go out on stage and you make a mistake. I've gone out many times and I've actually even tripped on stage. I've misjumbled my words. I've said, oh, wait, sorry, that's the wrong information. Let me restart. I apologize. Or you could go and say it many different ways. You can use a joke to kind of correct yourself, but mistakes are okay. Having a understanding of self-forgiveness when you make a mistake is something that a lot of people think that, oh my gosh, I've made a mistake, I can't do this, what are people going to think? And actually really just take a step back and realize, you know what, it's okay. We all make mistakes when we go on stage. I've made plenty of them. I still make mistakes to this day. And even in my course, I've actually made a ton of mistakes, and I said, you know what? Rather than take my mistakes out of my speech or out of my YouTube video or out of my course, I typically tend to own them because I feel that people should understand that humility is okay. When you go on stage, being able to own your mistake and not freak out on a mistake allows people to see that you're confident in what you're talking about. It also allows people to see that you show humility, and people tend to thrive on that. Whereas it's like, hey, somebody who they respect and they look up to made a mistake. It's okay, I can make one too. And I know even for myself, when somebody that I watch, even when I watch a YouTube video and I look at the person who I look up to and seeing them make a mistake, actually helped me build more confidence in what I was saying and how I was going to say it. So understand that, hey, your confidence level, it's okay to make mistakes. We're all there. Tip number 8, focus on your strengths. We all have different strengths, different skills, different knowledge sets that we are a subject matter expert in. And even if you're not a subject matter expert in a particular area, when you go out on stage, try to let your personality shine through. When you do this and you focus on what your skill sets and what you are strengthened in, what you do very well at, your personality starts to come through. When your personality starts to come through inside a speech, an audience and everybody is able to better connect with you because you are showing who you truly are. You're being more authentic. And that's gonna help many people see, okay, am I gonna be able to connect with this person? Am I gonna be able to have a better connection on a YouTube channel? Is this the person that I wanna learn from the most? It really helps because you're showing who you are and what you shine at. And number 9, one area that I encourage several people to do is to gain feedback. If you're going out in front of a large group of people, a set of coworkers, or going out on YouTube or in any type of video, gaining feedback on how you're doing is crucial because sometimes you may have a particular body language stance that you're not familiar with, and you need a little bit more clarity on how that's happening and what you need to do to fix it. Some of the areas of feedback that I've personally gotten is how I act on stage or how I act in a group setting that I've had to take a look at and say, okay, I might need to change this. One area in feedback that we often encourage is to really look at yourself on a video of how you're portraying yourself and what you look like and how you think it might be received. When you get that feedback, you may have to work on changing different mannerisms. Does the message have clarity? Are you able to communicate what you're looking to communicate, and is it being received very well? You also might find that the feedback that you're getting is that the audience that you're hoping to reach isn't identifying with the message that you're delivering and the way that you're delivering it. And you're gonna have to go back to the table and maybe change a few things. Remember that confidence comes with experience. Public speaking and confidence are both a skill set that you have to learn and you master over time. Nobody walks out on stage being a master of the art of public speaking. It actually takes a long time to find your groove, find your voice, and really understand your message when you go on stage. And it's something that I encourage people to realize, hey, it's going to take a lot of failure before you achieve success and before you get there. All right, thanks for spending time with me inside this video. Between now and my next video, feel free to join my Instagram page where I release daily educational content in the area of career strategy, leadership, public speaking, and lifestyle. Also, you can see a ton of different blog articles that I have regarding public speaking on my website, jenniferfallon.co. I look forward to seeing you around. Take care.